Thank you, Minister. And Minister, before I continue, I just want to say how engaged you and your staff have been here, how you have listened to families, to survivors and to the wider community, and have made changes in this legislation that were recommended to you. We have had a very lengthy process in the committee, but it was good that we done that, because we as a committee, and I want to mention Kathleen and the committee, and from all parties, we worked extremely hard, and we were honoured to work and listen to the stories that we heard, and we were all affected by it. There's no question about it. Like I feel even, and I know all of us did that when you left that particular committee, you went home and you were just thinking back of what had happened, and it is very hard. So I think it's important today that we do, we really have listened, and we've listened to the voices of people, and I think that is so important for the survivors that we have listened. We have waited a long time for this legislation, and now it is so vital that we see it passed. Relatives are they're ageing, and that's just putting it bluntly, because they are. The babies in Tuam particularly have been left already too long. The site at Tuam is complicated, probably one of the most complicated in Europe, and your introduction into this bill of intervention to be carried out by professionals in line with international standards and best practice, so as to maximise what is scientifically achievable in relation to the identification and return of remains, giving us the best chance here of reunification. We must see this bill passed quickly here and enacted so we can begin the process and start. We need to start this process. We need this lawful basis for forensic excavation, recovery and analysis of remains at the site of the former Mother and Baby Institution in Tuam, undertaken to international standards. We will need this at other sites too, and this bill will allow that. A number of changes are made now to the legislation since the general scheme was published to ensure it does not restrict any further investigations elsewhere, and this is so important. I raised my concerns regarding the restrictions on the jurisdictions of the coroner in the general scheme, and I am glad to have seen it removed entirely, and I do think, Minister, that is important, and the bill will now require forensic excavation, recovery and analysis of remains to support, where possible, establishing circumstances and cause of death. This was a chief concern for many witnesses who came before the committee. To see this bill allow DNA-based identification to be undertaken to reunite families with the remains of their loved ones, while this is complicated, bordering to the contributors now who can actually come from grandparents or aunts, and that is really welcome. That's so important to us. I know that a parent or a sibling can still request only first order relatives that can be considered, but the director can assess these requests now, and they can make a decision so that the children there have the best possible chance of having a dignified burial, a service and resting place with the family that was denied to them when they died. And I think that's so important. I know we all know that the excavation, recovery and identification process will be extremely complex because of the number, the age of the children there, and the manner in which the remains lay, and of course the passage of time. But those babies, this legislation allows that to happen. And I will be supporting this wholeheartedly for the families, for the community who have mourned them, and for this country to begin making amends. And again, Minister, I just want to say, and again, I'm so honoured to have been part of that committee. I think this has to happen really quick. I think people, as I said, are ageing, and I think people need to know what, it's just so important now that they know we've been listening to them. So again, look, just thank you, and I know that this has been very hard for all of us, but I think there now we are going to a good place where we can now give the answers that they have been looking for. Thank you so much.